unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa and I, and welcome to the fam. So you guys, today's reading is a love reading for all my beautiful singles out there. Know that this reading is timeless, so whenever you chose to tune into this reading is the right moment for you to receive these messages about love. So in order to receive your love reading, I would like you to choose one of these 4 crystals intuitively. So just go with whichever crystal that you feel really resonates with you. The 4 crystals are as follows. We have the Diopside, we have the Aquamarine, we have the Smoky Quartz, as well as the Azurite. And as usual, for your convenience, I have posted the timestamps of all of these groups in the description box, as well as pinned them to the comment section. So what you do is you scroll down, click the group of your choice, and you will be able to fast forward straight to your reading. And of course, if you're new to my channel, make sure that you don't forget to hit that subscribe button in order to ensure that you always stay up to date with messages that are relevant. I post at least 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes even more than that. And I would love to welcome you to this safe space, to the Unicorn Fam. And I just love welcoming new faces each and every day to the Unicorn Fam, because the community that we have on my channel is just so beautiful. So thank you to all of my existing unicorns who have made this space so magical. You guys are truly awesome. So yeah, you guys, enough of the chit chat. I want to get into the reading so we can spend more time within the individual groups to find out a little bit more about your love life. So I'm going to be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Diopside. And for all my other gorgeous groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Diopside group number 1, which is a gorgeous mineral, but I want to move straight into your reading in order to figure out exactly what is going on in your love life. So let's get right into it. We have illumination. So one thing that I see in illumination is just the fact that your love life is soon going to benefit from kind of the truth being revealed, from illumination of who you truly are, and also illumination of what is missing in your love life and where you can improve. So what is missing? That may feel obvious to you being single. You may think to yourself, well, obviously someone is missing that can be that, you know, better half of mine. But that is not always true, group number 1. I want you to keep in mind that often we have illuminations of things that are missing within ourselves that we're trying to compensate with a partner, okay? We're trying to compensate for maybe the self-love that we're missing, just that feeling of freedom, that feeling of being supported, and we look for that in a partner. And often it can be very difficult to have a successful relationship when you feel as though, you know, you're incomplete and that somebody else can really like complete that puzzle that is you, that is your life, because often that is not true. You're enough, group number 1. I want you to really take that to heart, and if it's something that you struggle with saying out loud and feels cringy, start right now, or write a little comment down below. Write, I am enough. Okay, you're only writing it, you're not saying it. If it still feels cringy, know that you need this. You need to manifest, you need to write it down, you need to speak it into existence for you to believe it. That will really benefit your love life. Then we have freedom as well as flow. So group number 1, this is a really interesting combo, and one thing that I feel in freedom is just the fact that it is such a freeing sensation for you to be able to love yourself the way you've always wanted to. That is what I see in illumination. I see that that is sort of the next step in your love life, the next step to fulfillment. Just this freedom to say to yourself, yeah, I do love myself. I do think that I'm enough. I do think that I'm worthy, and to not feel as though it's weird or cringeworthy or something that you shouldn't be saying. Furthermore, in flow, I want you to kind of try and go with the flow a little more, and you may think to yourself that you're already doing that, but it seems as though from your reading that you're going to come to the realization that maybe you've been a little bit too stiff or uptight in certain situations, and that you could truly benefit from just relaxing, exhaling, and giving your body and mind the time to just go with what is happening right now instead of working against it or trying to move into a different direction. And then we have a time to go, as well as chop wood. Group number 1, I see here that it's important for you to kind of focus on your earthly ventures right now. I see that wherever it is or however it is that you make money to sustain a life, basically, I see here that, you know, just putting in a little bit more effort. I see that in chop wood, as well as time to go. You know, that is where you need to move towards right now. I see that love is not something you should be worrying about. I see that your entire being kind of needs you to be more present when it comes to your professional life, but it could also be an indication that love is something you can find throughout your work life. You know, maybe on a business trip or adventure, maybe just in your office in general, or starting a new project. That is something that could lead you to love, as I can see that it is an important message for your love life for you to engage in those tasks that have to do with your professional life. Then we have between worlds. We have here and now, as well as serendipity. So this is already kind of really great news for you, group number 1, the fact that you have serendipity within your reading. So in correlation to your love life, I want you to kind of just allow this to come towards you. I want you to allow yourself to enjoy serendipity. Serendipity is basically just good fortune, good vibes coming towards you. And I can see here in between worlds that it can be a little difficult for you to enjoy that, because you're kind of like in a weird in-between phase. So you're in a very independent phase, as well as a little bit of a codependent phase. So independent in knowing who you are, wanting to boss up, wanting to really upgrade, and being actively in the process of upgrading yourself and your love life, spiritually, mentally, but at the same time still having those attachments to things that have occurred or happened to you in the past. So if you have been, for instance, betrayed, cheated on, so on and so forth, by a romantic partner or, you know, a friend, that is something that you're still kind of lugging around with you, maybe even subconsciously, something that you haven't quite been able to put away and just say to yourself, look, this does not belong in my life anymore. So in here and now, I want you to look around, group number 1. Look around yourself and just see all of the bounty, see all of the greatness, and all of the opportunity that is in your life. Because often we kind of take the things that we already have for granted, or we lack the capability of seeing opportunity within them. So if you have a phone, if you have a laptop, know that there is so much opportunity in that in itself. It seems like something so basic in today's kind of society and world, at least in the kind of society that you and I most likely live in if you're able to watch this video. But know that a lot of people misjudge really how much opportunity and power lies in these technologies. People have started multi-billion-dollar industries from their phones, from their laptops, and you know, if they can do it, then you can do the same. All the information is out there. The same goes for love. This can be a very powerful tool to get more love into your life. So be it finding a reputable dating site, or just putting yourself in more situations where you're able to make new connections and meet new people. It could be networking events. You know, there's a reason why you're kind of being called to focus a little bit on your professional life in regards to love, which could be showing up for you because there is an opportunity and a possibility of love at a networking event, at a conference, maybe just by starting a new hustle. Just in general, I see here that it's very much connected to what you do to sustain yourself, what you do to sustain life. So be in the here and now, looking around you, seeing how much kind of potent energy is within your surroundings. Okay, so we have the King of Swords that just literally flew out of the deck, okay? And the King of Swords is somebody who is of an air sign, okay? So this person is most likely of an air sign. They may have showed up in your reading because you're supposed to be with somebody like them. The King of Swords is someone who is very smart, very intelligent, who may have had an amazing academic career and just education in general, or they may have been very self-taught taught throughout their life, where they actually put in a lot of effort to teach themselves a skill set that a lot of people would not be able to do by themselves, okay? So they're very quick, intelligent, smart, but they're also very logical in the manner and sense that they may not 100% understand when you're emotional or when you're going through something. So they need you to explain to them a little more how you feel, what you're going through, what's bothering you, and don't be worried when they give you a little bit of an icy response. They don't mean to be icy. They're just always trying to kind of analyze things in a logical way. So sometimes you have to sit them down and explain to them like, hey, this is not a logical situation. These are my feelings, okay? And they have nothing to do with analytics. They have nothing to do with stats. This is just how it is. So they need somebody to be open and teach them that kind of side of life, if you know what I mean. Then in the Hermit, I see that they're also kind of an introvert. So the King of Swords is somebody who has a lot of authoritative energy. They are a natural leader, but when it comes to their personal life, they like to kind of be a little bit reclusive. They like to be by themselves. They are most likely also kind of shy, and this could be because of their very high IQ, of their very strong intellect, that they feel almost a little bit self-conscious. You know, when people say that the smartest people are usually the unhappiest because they realize how much is wrong in this world, or how difficult relationships can be, and or they overanalyze, overstress, they're very anxious. So that is the kind of energy that I see here from this King of Swords within your reading. Then we have the Hierophant as well as the Lovers. So group number 1, this is really amazing news for your love life. The Lovers is one of the most favorable cards when it comes to one's love life. This is all about living in unity and harmony with another person who loves and respects you. In correlation to the Hierophant, I see that this is kind of based on a very spiritual foundation, on you either understanding one another's religions or spiritual aspects. As you know, my channel is open for everybody. This is not about anything that has to do with religion specifically, but you can really kind of connect when it comes to something that you both can't even see. So group number 1, and know that this is somebody that is meant to enter your life, the King of Swords person, and you are meant to have this romantic connection with them. You're meant to have this connection that is based on mutual respect and also understanding of one another's beliefs and just respecting the other person for their integrity. So this is a very favorable reading when it comes to your love life, group number 1. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I just want to thank you so much for being here. If you made it all the way till the end of this video, leave a little dove emoji down below, as we did have freedom within your reading. And yeah, wherever you are in this world, group number 1, I hope that you're staying safe and having a fabulous time, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose this gorgeous Aquamarine, group number 2, which is just such a beautiful stone. I'm actually wearing an Aquamarine bracelet myself, but this is a blue version, and you chose this more greeny tinge, which is a very calming stone. It is a very reassuring stone. So a nice choice, group number 2. I want to get straight into your reading. So first and foremost, we have community. Group number 2, I want you to know that when it comes to your love life, the whole theme right now is to not feel like love is so far from home. So it may feel to you like you already kind of know everybody within your vicinity, and none of them really seem to be the type of person that you would want to be with. It can also feel as though your community is lacking romantic abundance, but I want you to not fear that that is the case, and I want you to know that there are hidden gems and hidden butterflies within your community, as you can see here in this card. So I want you to take this seriously and to know, just as you are a hidden gem that is still single and not in a relationship, there are other hidden gems around you that are just waiting to be able to make that special connection with somebody. Then we have success as well as truth. So group number 2, it seems as though success is something that really only comes in a connection to truth with you. You're somebody who likes when a partner is truthful, and I see here that this is really what is going to make you and that special person connect. When you realize that they're truthful, when they have proven themselves, and when you can see that their intentions are pure. You're kind of skeptical until somebody has showed you their true colors. You're always a little bit more careful rather than too trusting, so you may act like you're very trusting when it comes to love, but you really just always have a very observant gaze over anybody that you're interested in, and they may not realize it. They may think that you're just like chilling, but you're not. You're observing and you're keeping a close eye on the situation. So I definitely see here that you're going to need the truth to be revealed before you feel safe when it comes to this connection, when it comes to this person that you feel hits you closer to home than you expected love to hit you. Then we have the Queen of Swords, as well as the Magician. So in the Queen of Swords, we have somebody who is strong, who is very logical, and who is not really overly emotional, okay? The Queen of Swords is connected to all things that have to do with your mental space, to all things that has to do with logic. The Queen of Swords is connected to air signs. So this is maybe something that you can relate to if you're an air sign, or if you're somebody who prefers logic over feelings many times. And I want you to know here in the Magician that when it comes to your love life, you need a little bit of everything, okay? So the Magician kind of rules all the 4 different genres of signs. So fire signs, water signs, earth signs, air signs. I want you to know that the Magician incorporates a little bit of all of their strengths in order to make just the right kind of a potion, if you will. So see this as relevant for your love life. Know that you cannot just be too heavily on one side. Know that there always has to be kind of duality. There has to be a little bit of a balance, especially if you're somebody who, say for instance, has very feminine energy or very masculine energy. Try and make sure that you're incorporating all of it. That is one thing that I see is very important for you and your love life. Furthermore, in the Queen of Swords, this is also an indication of the kind of person that can enter your life very soon when it comes to love, okay? The Queen of Swords doesn't have to be that we're getting a female if you're not into females. This is just the embodiment of somebody who is logical, who is strong, but at the same time, you know, they have their moments where they're nurturing. But we have a card right here that did something very interesting. That is why I did not continue shuffling group number 2, because this is an important message for you. We have the Observer. So this is exactly what we spoke about, and you always observing, always keeping your eyes open. And I see here that it's time for you to turn your gaze in another direction. So yes, you are the observer. We have already established that. Furthermore, the observer is also somebody who is able to look in many different directions. As you can see here, the observer is a fox that is looking through this kind of like telescope-like device, but he's also at the top of this little hill, okay, and he can look in any direction. And I want you to keep in mind that you can do the same. You don't have to just observe one specific part of a person or look at one specific area where you can meet somebody. Try and kind of diversify to different areas in which you consider love, and also in which you evaluate if somebody is right for you or not. Then we have Milk and Honey, as well as the Never-Ending Story. So I definitely see here that there is, in Milk and Honey, there is a lot of bounty to be enjoyed when it comes to your love life, okay? Milk and Honey is obviously a very positive card for you to have received within your reading group number 2. So let's be thankful for that, because one thing that I can see here in the Never-Ending Story is that one thing that kind of holds you back more often than not from finding somebody compatible to you is this never-ending story of how you feel about yourself. So self-loathing feelings, feelings of just not being good enough, a little bit of self-hatred as well, okay? That is one thing that we have here in the never-ending story, and it doesn't have to be very intense and dark hatred. It could just be a simple like, oh no, I'm not that pretty, or I'm not that smart, or I don't really think I'm gonna be that successful, I'm probably just gonna be okay. And I want you to know that while that isn't very aggressive language, it is still low-key self-hate, okay? It is low-key not wanting the best for yourself, and you may have not realized this in the past, so it's important for you to observe that as well. Come to this realization, group number 2, because it's valuable for you to let go of that, to leave that in the past, in order for you to be able to make the most out of your love life and just have the best possible love life. So keep those things kind of close to you, just as people say, you know, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Keep the enemy talk that you have with yourself close to you in order to be able to change it. Because when you're very closely observing, when you're paying close attention to it, that is when you can actually make a positive change and have a positive impact. So see this as an opportunity for you to once and for all get rid of this never-ending story of not feeling quite the way you've always wanted to feel. Then we have stand still, as well as flow. So one thing that I see here in flow and standstill is that you're being torn in two different directions. So on one end we have flow, which is all about just letting yourself go with the flow and not having this attitude of feeling like constricting yourself of going with the flow, of feeling like challenging the flow. And in the same time, in standstill, I see this desire to kind of just be in this state of complacency, be in this state of not having to go with the flow, of not allowing the flow to take you somewhere unknown. So this can be difficult to deal with, and it can be a trying and challenging time for you to figure out what is best for you and your love life. So I want you to know here in the standstill that it's okay to not want to go with the flow. It's okay for you to want to just kind of stand still. As I can see here in the 8 of Wands that just appeared, that things are moving very quickly and it can be scary. If everything around you is changing rapidly, it can be hard to figure out exactly where you want to go in love, and also to just allow yourself to go with any kind of flows in love. So be okay with both. When you feel comfortable, just let the river carry you down a little further, and when you need a little time out, just climb out of the water, okay, and just stand there, contemplate until you're ready to go back in and ready for more movement. Then last but not least, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So group number 2, this is an amazing kind of ending to your reading, as we're getting a little bit more info on the kind of person that is coming towards you. So in the Knight of Pentacles, we have somebody who is very focused on their career. They like the finer things in life. They like good food, they like luxurious vacations and getaways. They like well-made things, handmade things. That is one thing that the Knight of Pentacles is all about. And they're very ambitious. They're out there hustling, trying to make things work. And one thing that they're strongly connected to is the earth. So they're most likely an earth sign. So this is just more of an indication of the kind of person that is closer than you expected, and that you are meant to have that romantic connection with, if you will. But take your time, group number 2. It's okay to be in a weird spot right now. Also in love, as I said, get out of the river whenever you feel like things are moving too rapidly, as we spoke about in the 8 of Wands, and give yourself time to move to where you feel comfortable meeting somebody, being your true self, and just, you know, opening up and being who you are without trying to change anything and without trying to kind of make yourself more socially acceptable. So group number 2, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave a little fox emoji down below, as in the observer. We had the fox looking through his telescope. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me in today's video, group number 2. Wherever you are in this world, I hope that you're staying safe, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Smoky Quartz group number 3, which is a stone and that helps clear out negativity, any types of negative thoughts, and just unhelpful patterns. So that may be why you chose the stone, but you also may have just felt drawn to it because it is gorgeous, obviously. But let's move into your love reading, group number 3. So we have leadership. One thing that I see in leadership is that is something that your love life is in dire need of. Group number 3, if you've kind of just been going with the flow, letting things happen, know that it's important for you to sometimes take the reins back into your possession and to lead your love life in the desired direction that you want it to go down, group number 3. So yes, of course, sometimes just going on the path of least resistance is best, and it's sometimes good to just let the universe take control, but it's not always appropriate. Sometimes we have to take action, and sometimes we have to be the ones that say exactly what we want in love, what we're going to accept, and what we're not cool with. So know that that is one thing that the universe wants you to do right now for your love life. Then we have power as well as community. So I see here in power that it's important for you in correlation to leadership to take back your personal power as well as your romantic power. If you feel like you've been putting up with things or you've been okay with things that you don't really want to be okay with, that actually bother you deep down inside and that have always just made you feel inadequate. Like for instance, being with somebody who says that you're good looking but not that good looking, like you're pretty, but these people in the magazines, those people are really out of this world, and you've always kind of felt like, okay, so maybe they are out of this world gorgeous according to society's standards, but it just doesn't feel right coming from a partner. So if that is something, or something in that direction that you have had to put up with in the past, know that you can say no to that. You can take your power back. You don't need to be okay with somebody saying that you're fine for regular standards, but there's some other people out here that are way more special than you. You should never allow anybody to make you feel that way, because at the end of the day, one thing that I see here in community is that you have to remind yourself that we're all just humans. We all have imperfections. We all have things that are not exactly amazing and some things that we need to work on. And just because some people are in the spotlight and some people are, able to have access to the best photographers and editing softwares does not mean that other people are less attractive, including yourself if you feel that way sometimes. So don't allow anybody to make you feel inadequate or to compare you to somebody when it comes to physicalities, especially, because if somebody cannot just appreciate you as the most beautiful human being or one of the most beautiful human beings for who you are and needs to keep kind of like diminishing you to a physicality, then they're obviously not meant to be for you. And that doesn't make this person a bad person. That doesn't mean that they are a toxic person. They are simply toxic to you. They're simply not the right person for you, group number 3. But let's move a little further into your reading. We have blessings. So on a more lighter and fun note, group number 3, you have blessings coming towards you when it comes to your love life. So blessings are defined differently for each and every one of us. To you, a blessing may be meeting a soulmate. To somebody else, a blessing may be, for instance, taking the next step in their relationship. So I want you to know here that when it comes to your love life, you should expect good to happen. You should already set yourself up to win and already kind of allow yourself to be immersed in this feeling of, yeah, my love life is going well and I have nothing to complain about, because that is clearly what is coming towards you. There is happiness coming towards you and just feeling as though things are finally complete. So as I said, share this special and sacred moment with somebody who appreciates you, who understands you, who deserves your energy, to be around your energy, to be able to benefit from your energy, and be very picky when it comes to who you spend your time with, group number 3. So we have the Ace of Cups as well as the Knight of Swords. So the Ace of Cups is a card that kind of indicates a new emotional beginning. And in correlation to the King of Swords, sorry, did I say Knight of Swords before? Well, the King of Swords is who we have here. And in correlation to the King of Swords, I want you to know that this is a strong message pointing in the direction of you ending up with a King of Swords kind of personality. So you may ask yourself, what kind of personality is that? So the King of Swords is typically an air sign, typically somebody who is kind of older than you, more mature than you, that has a very strong presence when they enter the room. People turn their heads, and furthermore, they are naturally a leadership figure. So maybe they haven't always naturally been like that, but they've naturally evolved into it over the years. So they're very strategic. That is one thing about the King of Swords, and they're very logical, which makes them excellent leaders when it comes to things in finances. So they may be working at a bank, they may be working in accounting. They're just good with dealing with numbers and making sure that things are running in a profitable manner, okay? And one thing that I see here in correlation to the Ace of Cups is just this new emotional beginning, these feelings of having butterflies and just feeling as though this is somebody that you can see yourself being with for a very long time. So a truly blissful time, a time of love, and just as I said, having butterflies in your stomach. So leave a little butterfly emoji down below, group number 3, if you made it to this point of your reading. Then we have To Be Fair, as well as regeneration. So group number 3, I want you to know, and to be fair, that it's okay for you to make excuses sometimes when it comes to yourself, as well as somebody who has proven to be a good person to you. But you have to draw the line sometimes, and sometimes you have to kind of figure out again whether you're making excuses for people unnecessarily who just keep hurting you. That is one thing that I see here in correlation to regeneration. You have to regenerate a new kind of sense of knowing when it's okay to make excuses and when you're just setting yourself up to be hurt again. So what do I mean, group number 3? And to be fair, I want you to know that sometimes it's okay to make excuses for yourself if you're really tired, if you're feeling very lethargic and you just cannot continue working and there's something that you wanted to do, for instance, tidy up, clean up, whatever. So I'm letting you off the hook in this reading, group number 3. Also, it is fine for you to sometimes make excuses for loved ones if they're going through something really tough. So of course, we always say to ourselves, well, you know, crappy behavior, just because you're going through something, that's no excuse. It's fine, but also we're all human, you know. Sometimes you just want to act up or act out if you're going through something and you don't want people to necessarily hold you accountable to it for so long, just because, yeah, you're dealing with overwhelming emotions of maybe grief, anger, loss, and sometimes you just need to let it all out. So when it comes to love, if somebody has really proven themselves to be trustworthy and to not abuse that, then it is okay for you to just say to yourself, okay, they're going through something, I'm just going to be the strong one, I'm going to be the one who's keeping everything together and who will be here to receive them as soon as they have gone through their own regeneration and they're able to talk about it. Then we have the Hierophant, as well as the 3 of Wands. So in the Hierophant, one thing that I see here is just the sense of knowing when something is right and when something is off. I see that being very heightened when it comes to your love life, group number 3. In correlation to the 3 of Wands, one thing that I see here is that you are taking kind of baby steps when it comes to love, but at the same time, each step is very significant. As I can see here in the Hierophant, that your third eye is kind of super activated, hyperactive right now, if you will, as well as your intuition is just kind of running on overload, okay? Everything feels heightened, your emotions feel heightened, all the sensations are very heightened, which can be very interesting romantically, as well as intimately, but it can be a little challenging sometimes when you're trying to establish a new connection in love. So just allow yourself to feel all the feels, but keep in mind that it's important for you to always maintain that power, that leadership, and telling yourself, okay, this is how far I'll let my emotions go, but only up until this point, and after that I'm going to have to take over and make sure that I don't allow my emotions to screw things up for me, not in correlation to the King of Swords, not in correlation to any connection. And then we have the never-ending story. Group number 3, we need to chat. We need to be honest with one another. So how many times do you compliment yourself, really? How many times do you accept compliments from strangers, from people closest to you? When do you wholeheartedly receive compliments? Do you ever wholeheartedly receive? Or do you always kind of shrug it off and say, oh, it's not really true, or oh, well, you know, it's nothing? It's important for you in the never-ending story to just accept that people find you attractive, people love you, people want to be around you, and to embrace that. When they say that they appreciate you, they love you, they're attracted to you, kind of just be grateful and thankful for it instead of trying to make up a reason why it can't be true or why they're saying so. So this is not a time for you to do all of that justification that we spoke about before. It's important for you to just wholeheartedly accept that you are lovable and that people do find you attractive, and that it's okay to just receive those emotions and receive those compliments. And then we have deep knowing. So sitting right next to the Hierophant, it is clear that this deep knowing is coming from a place that is intuitive. It's coming from a place that you maybe have known that you need to revisit at some point again. You can connect with your deep knowing through doing different rituals, you know, yoga, for instance, meditation. That is where you can often connect with your gut feeling and with this deep knowing of what is working for you and what is not really working for you. And furthermore, I want you to trust. It's important for you when it comes to love to trust that you know what choices are positively going to affect you and what choices are not for you. And that is especially the case when it comes to romantic partners. You know deep inside who you deserve and who is most likely going to turn toxic for you in your situation. So that doesn't mean that you're judging, that doesn't mean that you're grading. You're simply looking out for the most beneficial connection for you and that person, because not only is a toxic relationship bad for you, but it's also bad for the other person involved. And you know this, and you just need to listen to that feeling and that voice, that tingling sensation that is here to guide you throughout your love experience, throughout what it is that you're going through in your love life. So group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you in correlation to your love life. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful. Thank you so much for joining me in today's reading, wherever you are in this world. Group number 3, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourself. I'm sending you lots of love and gratitude, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Azurite, group number 4, which is such a gorgeous mineral, but I want to move straight into your reading about your love life. So let's figure out exactly what's going on for you. So in enlightenment, one thing that I see here is a sense of enlightenment, as well as just liberation of figuring out exactly what it is that you're going through right now. So you may feel a little bit confused about your love life or unsure, or you may have just this feeling that is very unsettling and makes you feel like you don't know where it's going. But I see this sense of enlightenment in who you're meant to be, not only in love, but just in life in general. So this is really more of a eye-opening experience than you may have expected to have in your love life very soon, group number 4. But I want you to just enjoy this sensation of coming to this awakening, of coming to this new epiphany and just realizations. Then we have change, group number 4, and change. It is obviously inevitable that change happens, but change is happening on a more profound level in your love life. So know that how things are right now, you should enjoy this very moment no matter how difficult it is, because you're never going to get that moment back. Things are going to be different for good very shortly, and it has a lot to do with these epiphanies, with this sense of enlightenment and deeper understanding, as well as knowing of who you are and who you're meant to be in love. So change is obviously something that is good. Change has to do with evolution, with evolving into the next level, into the next version of yourself that you're supposed to be or meant to be. But it also means that you can never get an old thing back. So enjoy it right now. Then we have delight. So group number 4, this is positive news for you in regards to your love life. It seems as though things are moving into a fun direction. Things are moving into a direction that is very manageable, that is, in a sense, how should I say, puts you in a better mental space than you had ever expected, and just makes you feel as though love is actually a delightful subject. So if you haven't felt that way in a while, know that you're moving into a realm of more positivity when it comes to love. Then we have the 2 of Swords, we have the 7 of Swords, as well as the Ace of Swords. So we have a whole lot of swords, group number 4, which has a lot to do with just where you're at mentally, with your thought process, as well as with how other people see you in regards to love, okay? In the 7 of Swords, I see that the way other people see you and the way you see you when it comes to love are just 2 different worlds, okay? I see that there is so much hidden, there is so much that is maybe even inaccurate. Let's call it inaccurate, group number 4. Let's just call you out when it has to do with how you see yourself in love and how other people see you in love. You might see yourself as somebody who is, how should I say, a lot more difficult than other people actually see you. You might see yourself as somebody who is a lot more easygoing than you truly are. There is just a kind of discrepancy here, but I can see in the Ace of Swords as well as the 2 of Swords that in correlation to the change in the enlightenment, you're coming closer and closer to figuring out exactly where it is that this discrepancy is and being able to make the necessary adjustments. So if you, for instance, think to yourself that you're high maintenance and you start to realize that you're not really high maintenance, the only person who says that you're high maintenance is usually the type of person that just wants you to lower your standards. You know, you're coming to this enlightenment, to this change, to this epiphany and new emotional mental beginning where you're like, hey, maybe I just need to change the kind of person that I end up being with, because clearly they see me in a light where there is maybe a discrepancy, where they're making me feel like I'm one way when I'm really more the other way. So know that it's not necessarily something that you have made up falsely in your head. It can be a belief that has been ingrained in you by family, friends, past lovers, and so on and so forth. So in the 2 of Swords, I really see kind of like a detangling of that situation that makes you feel torn, that makes you feel like you're maybe not 100% sure if what some people have said about you in the past is true or not. Then we have Poised, as well as the Unfinished Symphony. So there is somebody within your realms who feels as though, you know, you were the one that got away, who feels like there is a song that has been left unsung with you. There is just something that they weren't able to experience. So it could either be being in love with you, being together with you, just spending more time and maybe giving your relationship an honest shot, an honest kind of try. And in Poised, I see that this person who feels like you got away, this person who is kind of still has feelings of love for you, feels as though you're somebody who's very poised, you're somebody who's very elegant, someone who they can introduce to their friends, their family, and not feel as though you may embarrass them or do something uncouth, if you will. So know in Poised that this is really something that you should embrace more. You may feel like you're more like a bull in a china shop, you're more clumsy, you're not exactly the most elegant person, but that is not how they see you, and that is not how a lot of other people see you. A lot of other people see you as somebody that they can bring around their close friends, and you know exactly how to act and how to hold a nice conversation. And then we have Co-Create, as well as the thinker. So one thing that I see here is that manifestation is something that can really influence your love life positively, group number 4. In the thinker, I see that spending a little bit of time just thinking about how you can maybe revamp your love life, turn it more into a positive section of your life, is what will help you co-create with the universe, co-create with the different energies that are within your plane. So the person that you're meant to be with has a type of energy, and maybe you're not attracting it right now. Maybe you have to just rethink the type of energy that you're putting out. Is it an energy that is a little bit too aggressive? Is it maybe an energy that is a little bit anxious, that is a little bit insecure? It's important for you to evaluate what is going on, to maybe reevaluate, rethink, and to make the necessary adjustments where needed in order to ensure that you're inviting love into your space, that you're not pushing it away because you're kind of out of balance. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles as well as the 3 of Swords. So group number 4, in the 3 of Swords, one thing that I see here is that what might really kind of hurt you in a way when it comes to love is just that there are a lot of people who cannot deal with your financial or professional success. That is one thing that I see in the 10 of Pentacles. I see that you're somebody who is strong, you're somebody who is destined to good things, great things, if I may say so, when it comes to their career. And a lot of people find that very hard to deal with, especially the kind of people that, how should I say, that you've maybe tried dating before. You may have never noticed that they were jealous of you, or just felt kind of intimidated, or felt like you're overly ambitious. They wanted you to be ambitious, but not too ambitious. They like you to be successful, but not more successful than them, if you know what I mean. So that is where I see a little bit of heartache. That is where I see a little bit of difficulty understanding why people would feel that way, because you're not like that. And a little bit of difficulty saying to yourself, okay, like a lot of people may feel that way, but there are those people out there who are just excited for me to be successful, who are just excited for me to reach new heights in my career and will support me. So if I need to kind of weed out a lot of people who are not dealing with it too well, then so be it. It's better to have a smaller, more condensed circle that you can really count on and rely on and trust, than having a whole bunch of people around you whose motives aren't really clear and who you're not really sure of, and who support you when it suits them, if you know what I mean, group number 4. So overall in love, I do see that there are good chances here for you to change things in love, for you to evolve, as we have a lot going on here in enlightenment, change, the thinker. But at the same time, I see that it's also important for you to focus on yourself. Yes, there is somebody here who feels as though your connection is unfinished or has yet to kind of like establish a romantic edge, but they're most likely not the one for you, as you first need to go through your own readjustments, through your own changes. So focus on you, focus on your change, focus on all of the delightfulness that is in your life, focus on co-creating with your guides, with the universe, and just continuing to be successful, continuing to be yourself, group number 4. So group number 4, I truly hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope that you found it insightful, as well as motivational to not feel pressured in love, and to know that it's okay to just focus on yourself in this moment. So wherever you are in this world, group number 4, I hope that you're staying safe and having an amazing day or night, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings.